It is the first day of a brand new season, and we're starting things off slowly with the 525 category, or as it's now called, the Sunday class. Technically, anything between 500 and 525 is now allowed, but nobody has actually taken the series up on that yet, and everybody is still sitting at 525. Of course, for this momentous occasion, as momentous as this category of cars can really be, I am not alone in the booth.
They still haven't fired me.
Yeah, well, there's only 3 people here who can talk, so...
Oh yeah, I forgot about the governor of Kansas.
Maybe one of these days I'll get Tyler, but he does professional iRacing commentary, so you know how that shit goes. Anyway, Suzuka East, the Olympic Rings, as I used to call them when I was younger, will play host to the first round of the new season with the slowest cars on offer. And the season is underway, as is the race.
With the slowest ever 0 to 60 times, we'll see all season.
At least until this category races again. The absolute slowest 0 to 60 time is the garbage truck, which somehow manages to have turbo lag, so it has even worse acceleration than everything else. Yo Watanabe is the POV car in the Suzuki Fuku Jimny that she debuted in the preseason testing. Were they 3 wide there? It ran pretty decently in that test, and it's already made up 5 places, and we're not even through 1 of the 7 laps we're running.
Meanwhile, she goes around the outside of the governor of Kansas, Thrasher, and some other fellow competitors.
And Rise and possibly Veronica. Tires in the fucking pass in the grass, and then also nearly quarter panels my shit.
Oh, that would have been a fun thing. Day 1.
Oh, we already had beef in the preseason stuff, so it wouldn't have really shocked me at that point.
Why do I all of a sudden want a lawyer?
You have the right to remain silent.
Well, unfortunately, I'm commentating, and, oh yeah, there's a Prius in the race.
There's usually a Prius in the race. Ruby pretty frequently shows up to this class, despite having one of the weaker cars in it. Maybe the problem, maybe her vehicle's pitiful performance in a straight will be kind of lessened by the fact there's only one of them. As here comes her teammate to dust her as well as Joshua Riggs in the S13. The Jimny seems to be getting very good exits from the last turn right now, and Yo knows it as well as everybody else.
I mean, essentially when you have half a Jeep, the grass really isn't going to stop that.
Just have an eat. And Natsuki, you know, pretty much regarded as like the sovereign of the 525 and 600 classes, is showing us exactly why. She's already got about 2 seconds ahead of Kunimitsu Miura midway through lap 3. As Yo embarrasses the tiny Sports 800 through the S's, the area that I thought that car would be good at because of how small and nimble it is.
Also, it appears somebody got damaged early on.
Get that in these bigger jobs. Let me check that in a second, but they're going 3 wide at the moment, I think. Yep. Yo does not want any part of that, and Noir just screeches ahead of Miura at the first corner. The advantages of technically being mid-engined. Not even technically, just the S660 just is.
To be fair, with a car that small, where else would you put the engine as there was nearly contact?
Yeah, they're playing a bit of limbo there. I think Noir almost just turned. Yeah, I think Yo also noticed that she almost turned her. I think we heard the horn blare. And if we get a look at the whatever car got damaged, that's way the hell back there. So we figured out it was Futaba that got the. Oh, just why was Thrasher going 40 there? He didn't even get damage. And Riho didn't hit him.
What is him doing?
Oh, well, okay, so then it was Pepper doing 40. Rise is then forced to slow down to 40. She must have just had like a goofy line. Thrasher's down to 35. And Riho is understandably not really ready for a fucking toll booth in the middle of Suzuka Circuit. So she smacks into Thrasher. Neither one of their Suzukis gets damaged, but Hutao, who is in a much heavier hearse, doesn't have any time to react, and thwack.
Yeah, you get that on these midget layouts.
And back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yo is basically on her exhaust pipe right now for the race lead, but cannot get enough momentum to get ahead. Oh boy!
Contact sideways. Everyone keeps straight.
Actually, there was no contact. That sideways moment was because Yo jammed the brakes aggressively to not make any. And the rather top-heavy Jimny didn't appreciate it. Too wide. This could be the battle for the lead, or battle for the win, I should say. Obviously, it's the battle for the lead. Yo, you could have closed the door there. I think you realized that.
And that's gonna open up the door for Noir to try to make a move.
Yeah, she's gonna do that? Oh my Jesus. That was contact, by the way. Yeah, just kind of barges Yo out of the way. There's the little beep. Yeah, Yo didn't like that either. So that's twice these two have made contact. Both minor contact, and Yo's gonna just out-drag her on the way onto the front straightaway anyway. It doesn't. No, Noir's run stalled out.
And
Noir keeps wanting to sneak in there, but there just isn't a chance.
just not enough horsepower in that little unit.
I know the Jimny is surprisingly on the higher end with only 160 on offer, but that's all it takes. And just to secure the race lead, Yote, I think, just took the entire S's without braking until the final corner anyway. So unless she makes a mistake, I think she's, well, yeah, secured the bag here. Natsuki doesn't seem to have the pace to get back up to Noir. She's staying dead even with her, but 123 is really fast for 525, but yeah, that's your last passing zone, so...
There's one more if you've got the,
if you're Noir.
Yeah.
If you're crazy and not afraid to bump somebody out of the way.
If you don't have a wife and kids at home.
Well, good thing the top three don't have that. And fourth place does have a wife, but she doesn't respect him anyway, so... But Yo Watanabe will head out of the last turn and will conquer the Olympic rings. A 56.799. That wasn't... Natsuki still went faster somehow. But she will win the opening round of the season. Despite Noir's best efforts.
Yeah, that was, I think we might already have a nominee for Dive Bomb of the Year.
Well, yeah, technically that is Dive Bomb of the Year, because it's the only dive bomb that has happened thus far. Noir is currently leading by default. Tuesday evening takes us not to the penultimate round, but Laguna Seca nonetheless. I know that frustrates you, Logan.
Yeah, I think that means run its course.
That's a surprising thing to hear from you. How about the Jesus Christ corkscrew?
Oh, that's staying.
Because we take that no matter what, and today I think we'll take it, 5 or 6 times? I don't remember the lap count. 600 class racing here today. Laguna Seca, I think probably one of maybe 2 or 3 tracks where its default layout is the right length for any category. It's not a good idea in 750 or 715, but it can be done and has been done. But it's mostly for 675 and under. Laguna Seca is green. You can pick out who's four-wheel drive. Hanamaru immediately jumps like 3 places. Alex Carson goes nowhere because that Skittle is front-wheel drive. It's a very deformed, discolored Skittle, but I mean, does it really look like anything else?
I believe it looks like a Honda Civic.
You look like a Honda Civic.
No, I believe I look like a first-gen Corvette.
You are what you drive, I guess? Where the heck is the POV driver? My god, Pablo's already in 8th. It was kind of home track for him because we don't have a track in Mexico, but...
Oh, whoa, contact! Who was that nearly got sent to the Shadow Realm? Oh.
That was Rain. Jimmy is not making any friends out here.
Crazy Jimmy doing crazy Jimmy things.
And then Rain was just kind of caught in the madness because everybody's just going around her outside somehow. Okay, I think that was just dramatic. I don't really know what the heck that was. It's like she registered the slight contact with Pablo that wouldn't have done anything, and she's like, oh god, I'm hitting something.
That wasn't Pablo that hit her. That was, me using the chrome horn.
Yeah. Well, she was also up against his, like, rear quarter panel, so it's just like, it seemed like maybe both.
As we go into the Jesus Christ corkscrew, no moments are making us great Jesus Christ.
Yeah, despite Jimmy's best efforts to make one, because he did not give Hernandez any room, and is continuing not to give Hernandez a whole lot of room. Well, finally gave him an inch there, and he has damage anyway, so I don't know why he was fighting it that hard. Besides maybe just stubbornness. Also, why the heck did you give Rain the chrome horn? Isn't your team kind of associated with Art of Speed?
I was kind of getting boxed in, and lap 1 is the best time to make tough spots, so it was either get stuck behind her on the outside or move.
I'm sure that'll be a fun... Oh, I say it's a fun garage discussion. I think Rain has bigger problems than that bump.
Yeah, crazy Jimmy. But speaking of Rain, as one Art of Speed driver has to pit for damage, another one leads with Leaf absolutely pulling away from Leah.
Yeah, Leah was, Leah.
That's her mother.
Combine the 2 names. Good job, Riker. Leaf was on the outside pole and is not front-wheel drive, so she inherited the lead well before we got to the Andretti hairpin. Funnily enough, Hanamaru drives an M3 in a different class, but right now has a shiny blue one filling her mirrors. I'm surprised these 2 haven't fallen down the order further, considering who's behind them. Barbara is sometimes a little too patient. How the fuck did you get up here?
I believe the answer is on the rear bumper. What happened to you two? Or what happens with the minibus?
Well, Kevin, that's a van. Did you think that was gonna have some insane cornering speeds or something? Give him a tap again. This is...
Jesus Christ!
Corkscrew. This is a little out of character for Bagstrom. So he was either tired of not being able to see the road ahead of him, or there was some altercation that happened previously that Kevin Bagstrom did not like. But that's just put them both out of contention. Kevin, on his first official race for Team AMT, not really making the best impression. Luckily, he's got his teammate Pablo, who's trying to get towards the lead, past Hanamaru off screen while we were looking at that replay, but trying to out-accelerate something that's four-wheel drive is easier said than done. And then he did it anyway. There was a lane left and not an inch more, but Pablo didn't need more, I guess. Shit.
That is probably the only one of the siblings that you could probably make that move work and not get a block of all time thrown. As we got a... not even a battle.
Yeah, Leafa did not know how to fucking fight that. She saw the sheer testicular magnitude of Pablo Hernandez even trying that, and was like, nope, I choose life. I've been in death games before, and I'm not even gonna play that one. So...
Just goes from third to first in a moment.
In a lap, yeah.
Speaking of moment, Barbara nearly had one there trying to pass a Honda Civic.
Honda Civic that didn't give her a lane to use. Neither with the the F1 FIA pinch at the apex because they weren't all the way alongside.
And now that Honda Civic's in a Corvette sandwich.
I guess Alice should have bought a Corvette.
Yes. She should have. Also like to point out that this season I have changed numbers from the 182 to the 83.
Yeah. Only because 83 was taken when you got here by somebody who is now left contact.
By somebody who left contact. Yeah, that is definitely a thing.
As you just fight the Civic through the kink, and Yo manages to, I think, scare Tomas Pager off. And unsurprisingly, your Corvette was able to outdrag a Civic on the way to the corkscrew.
You can almost hear the Freebird solo kicking in.
You close enough there, Barbara?
Contact? You will.
I don't know if you know this, Barbara, but bump drafting is not really meta at Laguna Seca.
Especially into a braking zone?
No. I've heard of trying to put the pressure on, or maybe even rattle the cage. Well, now she's trying it.
That is a spot to make that pass, I suppose.
Probably one of the easier places to pass. If it's not there, it's at the last turn. And I don't know if Barbara wanted to wait that long, considering, well, she had the devil on her shoulder. So... Hanamaru is not giving anybody room. Or I guess she is, but only exactly as much as she has to. Ifa did not fall too far behind Pablo Hernandez, but I don't know if he was really going at full speed either. And actually, looking at the way he just took that corner, maybe he was. I don't know.
In penultimate corner. Whoa, battle for third. Yep.
Oh yeah, I can barely even see the Corvette behind that Escort. So, Pablo Hernandez is going to win. Leafa will hang on to P2, exactly where she started. And no, Thea's four-wheel drive advantage got her clear of Barbara. Might have been a fight into the hairpin, but not where the start-finish line is. Corvette's 4.5.
Demon Sports 35.
This picture kind of a vibe.
It
Sunset, I
is.
think.
I know it's going to be a new screenshot.
It's Hump Day, or Warthog Wednesday, as me and Thrasher sometimes call it. And we had to say the line, Logan.
We're here at the midget layout of Watkins Glen because the midget layout's the best layout.
For 640 class, it usually has been, and for anything lower than that. In 675, you can go either way. But anything above 675, you kind of want the longer track, so you don't have to sit there and run 9 laps of what is basically, I feel like, 5 turns. Because once you get to 715 and 750, you don't really feel the S's.
And then once you get to 750R, the second to last corner isn't even a really a braking zone either, because some of those cars can just take it flat out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we took, like, Lightning or Juan Santo to this layout. He might brake for turn 1 and that's it.
Huh. That might be an interesting experiment to do one day. But that's not today, as we got a 640 race to do.
Unfortunately. And Watkins Glen is green. Even I can outdrag the fucking front-wheel drive car with all the wheel spin I got. Because, yeah, I'm the POV driver. I started last. And already Natsuki is trying to dump my shit. Hanamaru trying to, actually, well, pick up from where she left off, but actually improve on it. She leads out of the S's for the moment. I don't know if Isabel's gonna like that for too long. That Mustang is very fast in a straightaway, but she bump trapped him. They're 3 wide. Oh god, the NFR is 3, or no, that's not NFR. Well, 2 of them are. Bernice isn't.
Yeah,
I'm sure Bernice is
that entire off-season free agency.
There goes Isabel. Why you wouldn't do it into the bus stop, but you did it into the carousel, or out of the carousel, I'm not exactly sure.
At least you didn't Austin Hill anybody.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be a penalty, probably. Can imagine that. I'm sure it took every ounce of Bernice's being to not just turn left that every wide bit because Noir was on her inside. You are surrounded by school idols. You have Yo, Nico in front of you, and Ellie and a fucking bug behind you.
Huh, I thought that was a Porsche 911.
It has Porsche 911's engine in it.
But as I'm boxed in,
yeah, friends in high places.
yeah.
You got all yours in literally the lowest place.
Yes, we all know I got friends in lower places. Speaking of low, yeah, at the back of the running order, Thrasher, care to explain?
I don't think he was really... I don't know. I'm not gonna make excuses. Sometimes you just suck. We've all been there. Like you'd never run laps before.
Speaking of running last, it looks like Ellie's about to be last because I think she had to fit the damage.
Yeah, I heard something about that. The brakes on the bug are not the best, which means Kazuya Takahata just slides in and smacks her exposed exhaust pipe.
Oh.
So there's that.
But anyways, we got some muscle car on muscle car chaos in turn 1.
Yeah, 3 muscle cars, or possibly a 4th if somehow we caught Barbara, but this is looking more like Stars and Stripes than just a regular 640 class race.
Speaking of catching Barbara.
How about catching that slide? Bad.
A 70s muscle car handles like a 70s muscle car.
69, actually.
Nice.
But that's not an excuse, because the car in front of me is just as old. And so is the car behind me, and the car behind her.
Ah, so I believe that is
And the
a
car-
skill issue?
The setup was wrong. For that matter, the car in the lead came out the same year. Like, months apart. That's why I say in the top classes you don't feel the S's, but in this class, it's a white knuckle ride, and if you move the steering wheel even a little bit too far, you're gonna break a knuckle, probably. This is now we approach the part of the race where I can't see anything because there's a giant-ass truck in my way. I don't know how Hanamaru got that stop, to be honest. I think Bernice and Barbara just traded paint there.
That is normally a fatal mistake if you're in a C3 versus a truck.
It'd be more fatal if she drove into any other person on your team besides maybe Thea. Bernice isn't really proven to have that killer instinct yet. By instinct, I mean urge.
Sometimes the devil on your shoulder is just a devil. Other times it's a relative.
I am... Hanamaru just sent it through the bus stop. She tried to reverse crossover me, but it didn't work. She just didn't have the horsepower to stay ahead on exit, so... Riza's been pushing ahead, considering she started outside the top 15. She's not obviously making as much progress as me, but...
And turn 1, Pontiac versus Mustang.
Can we get a closer action shot? Jesus. Can't even tell what's going on from that far back.
What happens when you hire Fox?
We hired Bear. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's why I said unfortunately.
No! I was wondering what happened.
Like, you don't get a whole lot more space than this. We both have 2 whole car widths in between us. Like, there's a width and a half between me and the wall, and a width and a half between me and her. I don't know how she's this goddamn blind.
I'm not gonna say anything because I actually want to stay in her good graces. Can we get the onboard shot from Isabel to see what her hands were doing?
For a white glove incident. Or blue, I guess. Sort of where blue was in her fashion sense. I mean, she was kinda... Yeah, no, okay.
Can the crew chief, driver, and owner of the 29 report to the admin office post-race?
Like, yeah, I could have gone a little further to the left. Sure. That shouldn't be a life or death decision. I should be allowed to force her a half a lane over to the right and not meet Jesus. Especially considering I'm agnostic. Actually, no, I met Jesus. Jesus had even longer brown hair than usual and drove a BMW. They say he doesn't speak of his own accord, but how about his E46? Because, yeah, that's what I see just barreling towards me. And she really didn't lift. Anamaru did not lift until she saw God or checkered flag Zora. Instead, she saw a Pontiac GTO.
Didn't see. Well, she saw a judge, just not the judge.
Is there some kind of, like, curse at this part of the S's? Is there some kind of, like, visual bug? I swear to God, half the time we get crashes at Watkins Glen, they happen here.
Yeah, it's almost as if the competitors take a predetermined line, as if they were a computer of some sort.
Must be the heat.
Yeah.
Anyway, that wrapped it up for my fucking GTO. Again. I already had to
How many times have you crashed at?
Too many. To the point that if it got another crash, probably would kill me. Because we've rebuilt it once after the first time it was totaled by Tyler by accident. It's been in a couple of scrapes before then and after that, and now we have this. At this point, the structural integrity of this vehicle is probably non-existent.
I'll get the Flex Seal.
No, I'll just get a different car. Even if Mercury is tight on money, I still have something sitting in storage somewhere. A contingency plan for my embarrassingly high tendency to go through cars like an office goes through copy paper. Some might say bad luck, some might say I'm the common denominator. Others might say I'm just putting myself in bad places, or others might say I'm letting bad drivers into the league. I can't even tell at this point, and I don't really care. Thursday takes us to, well, as Thrasher keeps calling it, Barcelona, or Cantalounia. I sometimes call it Cantaloupe. Yep, Caterpillar, fuck it. Anyway, 715 class, because we skipped 675 apparently. I don't know. Immediately, I had no interest in racing for the rest of the week. So, and for that matter, somebody who's on the grid who shouldn't be, because we didn't get to look at the tapes until we were recording the race for Watkins Glen just now. So, Isabel's on the track for this week, but she will not be on the track for the rest of the month.
Yeah, that was a interesting discussion. I made popcorn and brought Buck.
I wasn't aware she even had it in her, considering I didn't do anything to Iris.
Yeah.
And with how much Noir always used to, like, tout, like, you know, do this cleanly and represent NFR properly, its days of dragging itself through the mud are over, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I'm not sure I believe it, there, Lady Blackheart. We are green from Cantaloupe, and, Stephanie Kaiser's the POV driver, which immediately made headlines considering who started on the outside pole. These two in their competitive rivalry that has persisted long before the Challenge Series was founded and will probably continue well after it's gone. It'll probably transfer to their kids and their children's children, and it'll be like the year 2085, and there'll be somebody in the Fidanzi clan be feuding with some Porsche test driver. And Stephanie knows that she's up there. She's trying to, you know, claw her way there, but she's going to be seeing a familiar face blocking her path in the form of Billy Stuber, a former associate of hers, and if I refer to him as anything more than associate, she's probably going to walk into the commentary box and smack me in the head. I'm already worried about a CTE from Wednesday. I don't need that.
Yeah, I made sure the door was locked, I think.
You think you locked the door. How does it even work?
Yeah, sometimes I just forget to do things.
Yeah, so as Stephanie finally works her way around the other Porsche driver on the track, well, another, because there's like 5, but
We have several cars coming in at the end of the lap 1.
and you were one of them. Yeah, so here, ladies and gentlemen, is how you break through a tank armor by braking too late, and there's a literal fucking military checkpoint at the apex of turn 10 because somebody didn't know how to pull back onto the freeway. So runs in the team this week, huh? Well, her car got a shit ton of damage for it. Rollins is somehow fine. Yumio's is not. Fernando Fernandez is not, and yours is not. As Dick will trivialize overtaking the NSX, doesn't have much in terms of straight line performance, so I'm not surprised. Thrasher wanted to do the same thing. He's still alongside. This is basically power versus handling typified, and Alex Carson manages to oversteer, so the Mustang will get through to 5th, and there goes Eric because of that.
Welcome to the Challenge Series.
Alex Carson loses 3 places in 1 sector with this simple trick. Ooh. That was a little close. And she's gonna outdrag the NSX, so that's now a 4th position lost for Alex Carson in the span of a lap. Will she be overtaken by Michael Krieger or perhaps Cam in the Audi? I don't think so, actually. Or at least not on this lap, although that was a really good run for Krieger. Maybe! Maybe I should open my big fat mouth. Outbroke him, and instead now Krieger might lose a spot to Cam. When you are going on the offense, you must always consider defense. Around the outside, use the Mustang's nearly 2-ton curb weight to your advantage. I don't know about Trivial though. I don't know how that happened.
Running mid-engine?
Maybe. God, the overspeed, fucking Christ, she really is pushing the hell out of that thing to get up there.
She knows it's leading.
Yeah, she'd rather die than lose to her, probably. It's like one of the very few long-standing rivalries in the Challenge Series that didn't come from a place of actual malice, like, I'm gonna kill you, like, say, Dom DeFrisco and Wayne Hansen, or me and Isabel after what happened yesterday. But, I'm only mostly kidding. Mostly. Part of the reason it's a Mustang is so that maybe by the time she comes back, I've forgotten about it and don't feel like stuffing her into the nearest tire barriers. And, now Stephanie is right up behind her teammate, Kendrick Schwartz. You still have a little bit of history, but I think it's kind of been mostly erased by them being on the same team. Mostly. I think Schwartz actually let her by, so... And now this is where the fun begins. If only I could get my throat to cooperate, because my lungs are starting to get a little bit worse.
Fedonzi versus Kaiser, the rivalry as old as time.
At least as old as Ferrari.
Where we can go back to a medieval battle and find a Kaiser and a Fedonzi going at it.
They just had actual horses back then, yeah? And, well, the battle might be over already. Nope. Last minute decision, Fedonzi tries to send down the inside. But she played the long game.
Switchbacks inside into the sweeper. Now the mid-engine around the outside work to Kaiser's advantage.
Not when it's also mid-engine on the inside. but it is still gonna work, so she's gonna send it again. Schwartz wants to follow her through, but backs out of it.
Tight battle into the hairpin. Kaiser's going to try to keep her nose alongside for the heavy braking left-hand corner. Side by side, slight bit of contact potentially between the Porsche and Ferrari.
I don't think there was, actually. I think that was just the perspective of the camera.
See here, did they get clear into that hairpin? No, now they're going to run up the straight.
Oh my god, Fidanzi with the crossover.
They're going to get clear for a second. Here comes
Around the
Kaiser,
outside.
Around the outside. Down the back straightaway. Here they come, side by side.
Kaiser's clear.
Final.
And she does brake not late enough.
Oh! Ferrari.
Fidanzi with another last-second attempt, and it works because she basically scared the hell out of Kaiser. Now they did make contact at the apex of 11. But it's so minor, it didn't really change anything other than just make Stephanie angrier, I imagine. You don't want to be stuck on the outside here, it doesn't work. Okay, never mind, I'll shut up now.
Kaiser made a few passes straight. But here we go. Drag race down the first straightaway, final lap.
And now the Carrera has it. And Stephanie is taking a defensive line this time. She's not having any more of that last-second decision from Francesca, and I think that will be a wrap for another chapter in the battle between Francesca and Stephanie. Vedrick just got, you got a performance, basically. You got a front row ticket, so all you had to do is keep the car under him. Which, considering this four-wheel drive, that's like the only Porsche that I could see myself taking, or staying in control of. You might try a peek at Francesca too, try to keep her off of his teammate. But, well, she's not an easy mark, I don't think you needed me to tell you that, so...
That's going to be an interesting attempt to make. As there's another Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche 134. Francesca is spoiling everything. Dedrick tried to pee, but that's going to be the last chance there, so... Let's see if there's anything else happening at turn 10. Yep, Krieger still had not gotten past Carson, and this is his last chance. Oversteer at turn 11, and that's gonna finish that off. That's 9, 10, 11.
Speaking of finishing off, coming to the line.
And I got that the last second. Yeah, Stephanie wins. That's the first challenge, but I think even if it were a battle for 19th, I think Stephanie would probably value beating Francesca over winning the race.
Oh, easily.
And, yeah, so it is a 1-3 for Porsche AG, and then it's also technically a 2-7 for Scuderia Fidanzi, because Eric is there. Also, Thrasher was here. The governor of Kansas is, in fact, Graham Rahal. And, that is the ultimate... That would kill Logan with that one. That is the ultimate combo of, running gags right there. Also 9, 10, 11 for Team AMT, so they're just smacking the midfield today. Do I have any other drivers on there? Oh, there was a Fidanzi driver who got caught up in whatever the fuck lap 1 was. And, yeah, that about wraps things up from Barcelona Caterpillar. We end off the week with the roulette race at the Red Bull Ring. The alliteration is insane. If only it was just Red Ring. But then we'd be on an Xbox, not a PlayStation.
And we'd be dead.
No, that's if it were the Dead Ring, not the Red Ring. I'm aware. But, yeah. I don't have any other commentary. I'm still recovering from Wednesday. You're still recovering from the governor of Kansas being Graham Rahal. It's a time to heal for all of us here at the Challenge Series. And we are green from the ring that is red. And it has bulls in it, allegedly, I don't know. Unsurprisingly, Lightning, who is our POV driver, is going to storm ahead of all 5 of these cars that, all except for you, are in a much lower class. And I think you were just stuck behind those cars. Oh my god, and just... a lane has opened, and Lightning is just going to go right through. He's already up to 8.
Now,
Wouldn't think he started last.
but his main competitor for the race is the only other 750R class vehicle of this race, Rain.
Yeah, Noriaki Nakazato. There's also Nico, theoretically, who's in 750R. Or it's just not 750R, but is 750. So that is the same class, just not really the same regulations. As weird as that sounds. It's, Lightning gets down the inside of Chica, and yeah, these passes are kind of just formality, considering there's like technically 115 performance points between Lightning's car and Dom's, for example, who he's just dusted on the exit of turn 7. No, I didn't have to count, shut. And we all know that the RCF, with its 1400 horsepower, is going to be a weapon of mass destruction on the straightaways, and we have like 3.5 of them here. But the amount of acceleration the 787B can get by being aerodynamic and much lighter and, you know, not being shaped like a brick, he just needs to avoid the curbs, because that thing is very light and doesn't like that. Nico with the block. Oh boy. Down the inside goes the 787B.
Contact
And he found a curb!
Aggressive goes around.
And he found a wall!
Through goes Hamilton.
And also, it's not a 787B, it's the Assoluto Gepardo, but it's just a street legal version of the 787B, is all that is. Really, the only difference is that it doesn't have the same front arrow and the spoiler is shaped differently, but from a cursory glance, it doesn't really look all that different.
If it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
You really call this quacking? Nakazato, I know you're used to driving drift cars, but my brother in Christ, that thing turns better than that. You should not even be letting off through 6 and 7. Here, maybe. Okay, he's about got that right, as Lightning got ahead with the Lightning. I don't know words.
Fast car.
Yeah, Nico tried to.
Fast.
And you got damage. So you, well, would have gotten way ahead of him, but you took caution because Tyler was doing that, and Kent Hunt was not taking caution. Instead, took your bumper off.
Yeah.
How will this affect LeBron's legacy?
How will this affect the NFR beef?
There are not a many. What the fuck words are coming out of my mouth? Other than these two, I don't think there are many NFR cars on the track. No, those are the only two. And one of them shouldn't be here if we had just checked the tapes post-race, but I was, you know, most of us were just worried that I was concussed or something. Yeah, that's how Lightning got ahead of Nico. Now we get back to present time. And Nakazato's gonna try and recover. God, you can pick up your teeth on the Grandstand 4B. And Nico has enough power to get alongside Lightning, but then we were reminded that Lightning has a race car and can brake a lot later. And so he's not really under any actual threat from her. It's just kind of scaring him and not much else. But are we sure that 787B, Assoluto Gepardo got properly BOP'd before this race? It does not have that much acceleration nerfed. That looks like it's stock acceleration.
I wasn't in charge of tech support this race. I thought that was your job.
I wasn't even here, my guy. I was trying to make sure I wasn't, you know, gonna get Dale Jr.
See, yeah. Still, it wasn't my job to be in charge of pre-race and post-race tech for this race, as I was the guy with the big red button that says caution.
And then presumably it must have been Tyler, as he was the only other admin that was at this race. I mean, Thrasher weren't. Iwasaki is more of a behind-the-scenes guy, as is Kawashiro, so... embarrassed on the front straight. I mean, yeah, it is going to have more power than the GTR, but it seems like it's got excessively high amounts of power. If it's making the same top speed as Nico's 1300, 1400 horsepower brick, 186 there for him, versus Nico, who's also doing the exact same
And he stepped on
speed.
it again.
And this
Man,
time
that's
he damaged
going to
himself.
damage.
And, oh boy! We might have to hand out another, well, much smaller suspension to Nakazato. Not so much for malice, but just for stupidity. You know, they say don't attribute to malice what can be attributed to stupidity. Well, I know what happened in Watkins Glen was not stupidity, or not entirely. You're lighting off for that? Do I need to drive that fucking car, Nakazato? You want to come sit on this pit box and I'll drive? You clearly don't know what you're doing with that thing.
Calm down, Dose. You don't need another Watkins Glen incident.
Specify.
Just when Dose got pulled off the box for screaming at Bug.
I was gonna say, that's...
do that radio clip.
Yeah, just that that's not the Watkins Glen incident that's on my mind currently, and I thought you were telling me that you didn't want somebody else going all sicko mode on the racetrack. And we return to Nico intimidating Lightning, but not actually being the threat. Very, very Nico state of affairs, all things considered. Veronica is here. She's just going to collect her third in class and carry on to next week at this point. Dom is 4th overall in the 675 class car because we had no 715 competitors in this race. So he's just beating a pair of 750 class cars in the form of Nakazato, who keeps stepping on his own dick, and you, who got ass-packed by a Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, and the driver's name explains exactly what word I was thinking as soon as it happened.
Yeah, I think everybody knew that. Let's see, will Nakazato step on his dick again before the end of the race? We'll find out, I guess. Yeah, we ran into the back of that Maserati of Reizo Ando, who I think just kinda chose life rather than deal with the fucking student driver here.
Now let's see how he goes after the literal admin.
Relatively normally. It's more so, what does he do when he gets to turns 1 and 3 by the FIA's goofy ass stats? He's gonna run straight into the back of Dom and damage his own car, but somehow Dom's car is fine. How?
I felt that one in my wallet, and it's not even any of my cars.
Nakazato is throwing caution to the wind and the pocketbook into the garbage bin. Does he hit the curb again? Oh, you are...
Show me a wall.
I can't take it. I've McFucking had it.
Can the driver, the owner, and the crew chief of the 132 come to the steward's office post-race?
Also, Ando has damage from hitting the back of Tyler. Jesus. I don't think he makes that turn if Tyler's not there, and then his own teammate still has the ability to take it down the inside. They're both avoiding the absolutely fucking clueless Group C car on the right.
Yeah, that.
Suffice to say that with the exception of Thursday, and I guess Monday and Tuesday didn't have too much, except for whatever the fuck Jimmy was doing at Laguna Seca, I've not been particularly impressed by the racing standards at the start of the season. Now we have lap traffic. Which, yeah, these are 600 class cars. There are 4 of them in the race. No, 5. And your dumbass has the pit. Tyler got ass-packed by a Maserati.
Then
Top 3 navigate the first bit of lap traffic with no real controversy. Thank Christ for that. This is going to be the final lap by my calculations, unless Lightning can get to the line in 31 seconds, which I don't think he will.
Good. Be close.
He's not been running 121s. He'll finish the race with like 10 minutes 4 on the clock. But Hanamaru might be lapped? Yeah. And she just holds her line. Lightning obviously has all the grip in the world to take the other line to pass. There's the timer. And Lightning Larson is going to be victorious from the Red Bull Ring. He will add another track to his back bumper. Nico claims 2nd. Veronica 3rd. Dom DePrisco is going to win the 675 class. Not really that dominantly per se, because Cruz is right there, but yeah, that marks 2 different 675 class cars that beat cars in the class above. It's not really your fault that you were beaten by these 2, but it's just a statement of fact. As for fucking bitch-ass 13th place Nakazato, on the other hand, yeah, that's entirely his doing.
Yeah, not once, not twice, but thrice.
And he has damage again. Post-race, he has more damage.
Are you?
You better fucking believe it, buddy. And of course he did the exact same thing the other 3 laps, and manages to he rejoins right into Luke Conway. It didn't damage his car, not that it would have been that expensive for him to fix his Focus, but not when compared to a fucking 787B. He lost to a 640 class car that shouldn't have been on the fucking track. But, yeah. This human being is going to win a 2nd race category win in this case. He's going to finish ahead of a 750R car, who I don't know if I'm suspending him because he can drive his RX-7s perfectly fine, but I don't know if I'm trusting him to get behind the wheel of this thing again.
I think we'll have to talk with the stewards, with the rest of the stewards about that.
We are the stewards.
I said the rest.
And then Akira Taniguchi is going to dominate the 600 class. He's the only driver in the 600 class to start a 7th lap. Raiza starts a 7th lap, but wasn't lapped down. Hanamaru, Michiko, and Ruby were. But that is episode 145. Yeah, that's correct. 145. I may have a concussion. I don't know. I have a concussion, probably. I have some hands to throw. There's going to be some angry school idols.
There's popcorn that needs to be made.
We've got whatever the fuck Nakazato's doing to discuss. We've got... Well, I'm pretty dead set on she's not coming back until the ATC begins. I don't know about what Thrasher, Tyler, and Noir. Noir will not be allowed to vote because that's her driver, and she'll probably call it rigged. Fuck her. Admittedly, she can take that and stick it.